Unmute. Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news. And as always, we do have a lot to talk about. It's a few hours. What are we now? So we're about 7 hours away from Manchester United's pre-season friendly against Real Betis, which we will be doing live, by the way. So make sure you are tuning in with us tonight. If you are up, if you're setting an alarm, tune in, get involved in the chat. They're always really good ones, them late shows. So yeah, really looking forward to that as well. But we've got plenty to talk about tonight in relation to Manchester United, guys. As you can see from the title of the video, Leny Yoro out for up to 6 weeks, and it's really not good news for the kid. It really isn't. And what is it going to mean for Manchester United, not just in relation to pre-season and maybe the game that we've got in a few hours' time, but what is it going to mean for the rest of the transfer window and us looking at going out and getting another centre-back? Will it speed that process up? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk as well a little bit about Scott McTominay. We're getting some increased interest from him over the last few days. Some of it is coming from Galatasaray, and just before we went live, we're hearing some reports suggesting that Fulham are about to re-enter and put in another bid for him, pretty much. So we'll talk a little bit about Scott McTominay as well. We've got updates as well, guys, on the Rasmus Hojlund injury. We'll talk about that. And then right back is a big area of, I suppose, conversation at the moment. Mazraoui in, Wan-Bissaka out. Where are we? We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And finally, Manchester United have made a signing today, which is good. It is an academy signing. Chido Obi Martin. I won't insult your intelligence by pretending I know who he is, because I don't, but we'll talk a little bit about him and what it means for Manchester United going forward. But as always, guys, on YouTube, please just smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel over on YouTube. We are on the road to 11,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. We are live on TikTok as well, guys, so anybody watching on TikTok, if you want to get involved over on YouTube, that's where we're reading out all the comments. Make sure you're getting involved over there. Link is on my homepage. Come on over and get involved. But guys, let's get the first article up on the screen, and we're going to be talking, of course, about Leny Yoro. He has suffered an injury, and he's been seen leaving on crutches today, which is not good. Now, look, I mean, coming off the pitch, initially I said, obviously, ankle, I thought straight away. He maybe rolled his ankle. There was a lot of people talking about, you know, the state of the turf in the SoFi Stadium, which wasn't good at all. And then, you know, obviously it looked like he rolled his ankle. Instantly I was saying, please don't let it be ligaments. Please don't let it be ligaments, because you could be talking 3-4 months out if you do your ankle ligaments, which is not good, especially for such a young kid who's after coming to Manchester United. Not just because we need him, but because you know what it might do for his confidence going forward. He was seen today leaving on crutches from Manchester United's training complex, and he was in a protective boot as well. Now, again, these protective boots are, you know, never, I suppose, worn unless there is a significant injury to the player. And, you know, we found out later today then as well, Neil Custis in The Sun has been talking about it. He said Leny Yoro is set to miss the first 3 games of the season with a metatarsal injury. It puts his return date on the 14th of September against Southampton. Now, it's not the only outlet that's been talking about this. Couple of different outlets have reported as well that he can be out to up to 6 weeks. And if we're talking about the 14th of September being the date, then, you know, the time adds up, and it is going to be 6 weeks. So yeah, really disappointing news in relation to Leny Yoro. And, you know, the kid is only just after joining Manchester United, played his second game, and all of a sudden he's coming off injured. Are United getting a bit cursed? I don't know. I mean, things like this can't... Oh, hi. Hiya. You coming in to say hello? You want to say hello to everybody real quick? Come on then, quickly. Quickly, you have your helmet on. Were you out cycling?
Yeah.
Wave. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Quick. Say it.
Hello.
Right, good girl. Right, go on, run along there. Mommy's calling you. Close that door behind you. Good girl. Thank you. There you are on TV, look. See ya. Right, go on, run along. But yeah, Leny Yoro, guys. Big disappointment. Big disappointment. Now, look, 3 to 6 weeks potentially. I mean, is it falling into the bracket of Manchester United not looking after their players again? There can be a little bit of concern when it comes to this, in my opinion. Now, look, you can't foresee something like this happening to a player, doing his metatarsal like this. However, Erik ten Hag said in his post-match press conference that Leny Yoro could only train 50% the day before. Now, if a player is only 50% in training the day before, are you really going to risk him? Are you really going to risk him, the next day going into a game? Now, look, I understand Leny Yoro is young and he's probably, hungry and desperate to want to play. But you've got to use a bit of common sense here. Now, again, we're working off of small snippets of information that we've got from Erik ten Hag. Maybe he was training 50% because he hadn't got his fitness levels up, or maybe he was training 70 or 50% because he had a small niggle in his groin, and then he goes out and does his metatarsal, which is completely different. So we're not really sure what we're dealing with here. However, I mean, if a player is only training 50%, you want to protect him as much as possible, and especially in pre-season. Let him do all the runs he wants. Let him, do laps of the field and do all the doggies and do all the training sessions, no problem. But maybe protect him when it comes to the game. Now, look, it's quite clear that he was only going to get 45 minutes regardless. Erik ten Hag, in each game so far this pre-season, has changed the entire outfield 10 each time we've played. So it's desperately unlucky. Now, going forward, what does this mean for Manchester United in the transfer window? And this is vitally important because we do know that United have been, I suppose, we've been linked with numerous centre-backs, and it does look like from the, even before the transfer window opened, that we wanted a second centre-back, okay? Now, the second centre-back that we've been looking at more than anybody else has been Matthijs de Ligt. Now, Matthijs de Ligt, according to reports today, has turned down several offers because he's still waiting to join Manchester United, and this is coming from Fabrizio Romano directly. So, De Ligt is there and he's waiting. Sorry. So De Ligt is there and he's waiting. He's ready to go. Personal terms have been agreed weeks ago with De Ligt. He's very excited about joining Manchester United. It's all about getting a fee with Bayern Munich that both clubs are comfortable and happy with. Now, there's a number of different concerns here. First and foremost, Bayern Munich have, I suppose, been steadfast on what they want for De Ligt. They want 50 million plus add-ons, and Manchester United don't want to pay that much. Now, Manchester United or Bayern Munich do want to go out and sign another centre-back, and they've been looking at Ta from Leverkusen. Now, they do have to raise funds before they can go out and sign that player. So, you're thinking straight away when you hear that, advantage Manchester United here. We can do some good negotiating here. They want money and they want to be able to go out and get their centre-back in with enough time remaining in the transfer window where he might be available for the first game of the season or even get him in for pre-season. So, advantage Manchester United. Everything changes when Leny Yoro pulls up injured in terms of the negotiations between the two clubs. When Leny Yoro gets injured, it has to accelerate Manchester United's negotiations for Matthijs de Ligt. It just has to. And then Bayern are going, okay, well, let's hold off here a minute. Let's put the brakes on in terms of maybe looking at, accepting a lower offer, because Manchester United now are a little bit more desperate, where they're not going to have their centre-back signing for the start of the season. We might be able to take advantage of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one shapes up. Look, I think it's quite clear that Manchester United do need another centre-back. Regardless of whether Leny Yoro got injured or not, I think it was quite clear we needed a second centre-back. And, with the injury that we've seen, it just goes to show the lack of depth we have there. The last thing I want to see at the start of the season is Lindelof and Maguire starting centre back. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the last thing you would want to see. So centre back is vitally important this summer, and the second one. Let's go through some of the comments over on YouTube. Let's see. Danny says, I can't believe that Yoro is out injured already after we signed him. Last season was an absolute joke for injuries. When are we going to catch a break? Live restricted for some audiences. What? What a fucking shit platform TikTok is. Anyway. Let's see. Finn says, a player wants to hit the ground running at a new club. It's a setback for big Leny. Dylan is in as well. Good to see you. We need De Ligt, says Finn. Danny says De Ligt has been left out of Bayern Munich's pre-season tour. Does that mean a deal is close? Hopefully it does. De Ligt and Martinez at the back. Some partnership. Well, a player being left out of a pre-season tour does generally mean one of two things. Either he's injured or the club are open or are expecting the player to move away. And obviously, it's going to be the latter one there for De Ligt. And the fact that, according to Danny here, I actually didn't hear that he was left out of the pre-season tour. It's good news for Manchester United. And Manchester United fans, it means we are probably closer to a deal than, we expected. Are you off to bed? Give me a hug and a kiss. I'll see you in the morning. And a hug. Good night, little man. See you in the morning. Here, what's this? Family stream day.
Yeah, community channel. Come on. Come on. Here.
Where was I? The fact that De Ligt has been left out of the pre-season tour squad is a good thing for Manchester United. It means that we're probably closer to getting a deal done from than originally expected, and it goes to show more than anything else that Bayern Munich are willing, not desperate, but are keen to get a deal over the line for De Ligt. Dylan says, we desperately need De Ligt because Yoro is out. Now Lindelof is not good enough. Maguire isn't either. We need good depth if we want to be challenging for titles. Finn says, Maguire's legs looked gone against Arsenal. Yeah, he didn't look great, didn't he not? Dylan says, what do you think of the young guy, Obi Martin? We're going to get into that as well, in a few minutes. I think he decided not to go on pre-season, says Daryl. That's in relation to De Ligt. Finn says, Arsenal fan at work reckons United are paying that young lad twice what Arsenal offered. I'm going to get into that as well. If reports are to be believed, it's a staggering amount of money for a young kid. Michael says, sorry I'm late joining the chat. Hope it's not Lindelof and Maguire against Fulham. We all hope that. Michael. Let's move it on a little bit, guys. I want to talk about outgoings again. And Scott McTominay has been a hot topic over the last couple of weeks in relation to a move away from Manchester United. And reports today saying that Manchester United and Galatasaray are in negotiations over Scott McTominay. However, they do clash over the fee. Now, the initial fee supposedly from Galatasaray for Scott McTominay was only £13 million, which is absolutely laughable. And, United, just smacked it out of the water straight away. Get away, absolutely no chance. And reports today as well, in relation to Scott McTominay, have suggested that he is open to a potential move to Galatasaray as well. He does. The report does say that he does prefer, or he would prefer, to stay in the Premier League. However, he's not closing any doors in relation to, whoever might come in and whoever is interested in him. Now, for £13 million, Galatasaray can, take a long walk off a short pier and, just keep on jogging. However, there is competition here, and the competition is coming from the Premier League and it's from a team that has already bid for him. It's in relation to Fulham. Now, this is coming from TalkSport, so we do that when we hear TalkSport, and it says Fulham are remain keen on signing Scott McTominay and are set to submit a bid worth £30 million for the midfielder. Now, that's in or around the price that Manchester United are probably going to be looking for Scott McTominay. Now, I think we were holding out last summer for a £30 million bid for him, and did West Ham meet? Did they offer that much? I'm not sure whether they did. Maybe they had personal terms agreed, but they weren't willing to spend that amount. Now, if you're talking about €30 million last year, Scott McTominay has had a very good season this year. What has he got? 10 goals, 12 goals, maybe 10 goals, I think. So he's had his best season basically in a Manchester United shirt. It has to be said, albeit a lot of that is coming from the bench as well. So if he was 30 million last year, you do also have to take into consideration that he has a year less on his contract, which always brings the valuation of the player down. But I think if you've got a year less on your contract and you've had a season like Scott McTominay has, I think it's quite feasible that Manchester United ask for 30 million for him, and I think we will get it if he does go. I would like to see him go. I've always said it. I think £30 million coming in for Scott McTominay is a really, really good deal, given the fact that he is an academy graduate. It's pure profit, and we're talking about FFP and PSR and so on and so forth. Manchester United, if we are going to move Scott McTominay on, that 30 million, you can nearly double it when it comes to, a player that you bought, and then sold out again. So, really, really good deal for United if we can get 30 million for Scott McTominay. And like I said, I mean, the midfield is an area that we need. And it's an area now that, and I can feel it within the fan base, and I'm the same, to be quite honest with you. I'm getting a little bit concerned about it. We're hearing talks about Ugarte, and we'll talk a little bit about Ugarte now while we're on the subject, because we've got, and I didn't bring up the, I'll bring it up here now, one sec. The report from Fabrizio Romano, because I think this does have a big bearing on the Ugarte to Manchester United deal. Okay, now we just got today from Fabrizio Romano that João Neves to PSG has been given the here we go deal, being signed between clubs, €60 million fixed fee, €10 million in add-ons, and Renato Sanchez to Benfica on loan. He's set to travel to Paris for a medical. It has to be this week, and will be this week. First signing done for PSG. Now, like I said before, I think this will hopefully accelerate the deal between Manchester United and Ugarte. If the João Neves deal is done this week, you're probably talking about Ugarte getting the here we go from Fabrizio Romano next week. Now again, Manchester United and PSG remaining in negotiations over a fee. We haven't really had any update on whether PSG are coming down, whether Manchester United are going up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear any more on negotiations until the deal is actually done. And we'll just hear a price to say, Manchester United agree a fee of 45 million, for example. And I think that's probably what will happen. So midfield is a major area at the moment for Manchester United. So let's hope that first and foremost you can move on somebody like Scott McTominay, and then, like we said, this deal hopefully will trigger the Ugarte to Manchester United deal to hopefully accelerate as much as possible. Now, there's an awful lot more we need to talk about in relation to midfield as well, because we've still got the Casemiro situation there. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? We're also talking about Christian Eriksen, and is he going to go? Is he going to stay? He's been talking this week about loving life in Manchester. His family is settled, his kids are settled, but he's also talking about not wanting to sit on the bench, which he probably will do an awful lot in the upcoming season if he does stay at Manchester United. So he's got 1 year left on his deal as well. Now, you're not going to get an awful lot for Christian Eriksen regardless. So basically what you would be saving on him would be wages, and if you can move him on and get maybe 5 million for him, I think you'd be happy because we got him on a free as well, which means the 5 million would be profit, pure profit as well, similar to what we're talking about with Scott McTominay, because he came from the academy and we didn't pay a transfer fee for him. So yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot of work to get done in midfield. Now, I've said this before about, and it's not just midfield. Sorry, let me close this door here. I can reach it with my leg. There's an awful lot of deals that need to get done, potential deals that need to get done, but they don't have to get done before the start of the season. You need the key deals done as quickly as possible. So, I mean, obviously we got one centre-back. I would like another one now because he's injured. We needed a striker, a forward player. We got it with Xerxes. We need a centre midfielder now. And if we get it with Ugarte, then it does take a little bit of the pressure off if you are going and looking for a second striker. As long as you've got the basis of a good team there for the first few games of the season, you can get deals done over and get deals over the line once the season starts as well. Because obviously the transfer window runs into the start of the season. Let's see what people are saying here in relation to McTominay. Darryl says 30 mil from Fulham supposedly in today. Dylan says Fulham can't spit out 30 million on Scotty, but compare around 34 million for Smith Rowe. Danny says Galatasaray are unwilling to pay more than 50 million pounds for Scott McTominay. That's according to reports. I think if he leaves, it will be to Fulham, so hopefully we get good money for him. Michael says I will bring Scott down personally myself, down to Fulham for that money. Ben says 30 mil of pure profit would be nice for the books. Finn then says, I wouldn't let McTominay off until a deal was over the line for an upgrade. Yes. Now, are you bringing in Ugarte? We're also looking at the likes of Amrabat coming in. Are we going to sign him on a deal? Reports are suggesting this week as well that Manchester United have or are putting a contract offer on the table for Adrian Rabiot. So there are options there to upgrade Scott McTominay. So maybe the fact that United are willing to listen to offers shows the confidence that they have about replacing him, which can't be a bad thing. Arsenal for Life says 2-1 in the pre-season friendly, and you lost the penalty shootout as well. So, yeah, still no trophies for Arteta, bar the FA Cup that he won with Unai Emery's team. I suppose you're used to it by now. 2 trophies in 2 seasons. Michael says, I think PSG have a check to look for 70 million for Ugarte. They won't get 70 million for him, no way. Pellistri should go, even though he is better than Anthony. Finn says, was Ugarte not 40 million when we first inquired? It looked like something like that, 45 million maybe plus add-ons. There was talks of that. Dylan says Ugarte will be class for us, I reckon, if the right fee is in, not too much for him. Right, want to move it on, guys, real quick, and I want to talk about Rasmus Hojlund. Again, we were speaking about Leny Yoro's injury update from Neil Custis in The Sun, and the same report has an update on Scott McTominay. Thanks for the gift, Michael. Really appreciate it, my man. And Saoirse as well. Much appreciated, guys. Make sure you're hitting the follow button if you're new to the TikTok channel, guys, and if you are watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well, guys. Helps the channel out an awful lot, as you know. On the road to 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. Anybody on TikTok, if you want to get involved on YouTube, we're live over there as well. Link is on the homepage. Head over to YouTube, reading out all the comments over there. But yeah, Rasmus Hojlund, guys, update on it from Neil Custis in The Sun. Sorry, let me zoom in a little bit here for you. It says Rasmus Hojlund's injury is thought to be a slight pull that could just keep him out of the tour's second game against Real Betis rather than be a long-term problem. Now, this is obviously a hamstring injury. Look, I said it straight away with Rasmus Hojlund. I didn't think, it didn't look like it was a very, very, major concerning injury. He kind of slightly pulled up, and you can never be too safe when it comes to hamstring injuries. You can just never be too safe. So they whipped him off, and we seen him walking down, or he was talking to to one of the coaches, or maybe the physio, and he just went like that. He went, yeah, just, which is, you know, a small strain maybe. Sit him out, let him recover. We need him for the start of the season. You know what I mean? He's after putting in a lot of training over the off season as well, and you know, he does look sharp. I mean, that goal he scored against Arsenal was really, really good. Burst the pace, really strong to hold off the defender, stopped, went again, and finished it really well. So we're going to need him at the start of the season. So wrap him up in cotton wool between now and then. But it does look like his injury, according to this report at least, isn't as serious as first thought. Drizzy says, were you at Villa Park away last season? I wasn't. It's one thing I do want to do, maybe this season or next season, is to try get to an away game. I haven't been to an away game yet, and it's something I would really, really like to do. But no, I wasn't. Danny says, having options is what let us down last season. That's why I'm happy we are signing players this season, so we won't struggle as much. Well, let's hope so, Danny. Let's hope so. For anybody asking, guys, we are doing the watch-along for the Manchester United game tonight, tomorrow morning. So it's 8:30 now, so 6.5 hours time. Actually, 6 hours from now, we will be live. So we're going live at 2:30 a.m. Irish time. So whatever time that is in your country, please do check it out and come join us. We will be live on YouTube, and we may be live on TikTok as well. We'll see how that goes. But anybody on TikTok, if you do want to join us on YouTube, over there we've got the full experience, we've got the scoreboard, we've got the timer, we've got the starting 11 on the screen, loads of graphics, so on and so forth. Link is on my homepage. Come over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on notifications as well, guys. You'll get notified then the second we go live at 2:30 tonight. So as soon as this live is over, I'm going straight to bed, and I'm going to try and get some sleep. I'm going to read a book in bed. That usually just conks me out. We've got a pretty good one at the moment. The Ultimate Manchester United Quiz Book. And I do have another really good book for any... I'm about 3/4 of the way through this. For any aspiring coaches, Soccer IQ is a very, 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 very good book. Very good book. For any aspiring coaches. About 3/4 of the way through it. Not an awful lot to do with you know, set tactics or anything like that, but just how the game should be played in terms of mentality, in terms of you know, it's a very simplistic book, and it's very, very good. It's a 2-part book. That's the first one, and the second one I have already ordered. So yeah, for any aspiring coaches, Soccer IQ. Let's move it on. But we will be live tonight, guys. Make sure you're joining us for it. Now, let's talk about right back before we finish up. We've got some interesting updates in relation to the right back situation at Manchester United. Now, we do know that Manchester United are pretty heavily linked with Masraoui from Bayern Munich. Now, reports suggesting today, well, not reports, it's true, he has travelled with Bayern Munich on their pre-season tour. Okay, so obviously, you know, he's there, he's involved, so on and so forth. Doesn't mean a deal, you know, can't be done. However, it generally means that a deal doesn't get done until they return from pre-season. Okay, now if Bayern are going on pre-season today or yesterday, whenever it was, they're probably gone for 10 days. You know what I mean? Now, there are some things that need to happen before this Masraoui deal can go through, and Fabrizio Romano has been speaking about it today. He says his presence with the Bayern squad doesn't change his plan. He still wants to join Manchester United. Bayern are informed about his desire, and personal terms are agreed, open to give the green light to a move. And the important part here is all parties waiting for Wan-Bissaka and West Ham. Okay, so we do know this, you know, this love triangle that's going on at the moment between Masraoui, Manchester United. Sorry, it's a quadrangle. I went to school. Manchester United, West Ham, Masraoui and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Reports today saying that West Ham are close to agreeing a deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. However, they are reluctant to meet Manchester United's £15 million price tag for him. Okay, now I don't think a £15 million price tag for Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a bad deal for West Ham or whoever it may be. I really don't think so. Now, I understand that he's got 1 year left on his deal. I understand that. I understand. But you are getting a very, 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 very good defender. Okay? And emphasis on the word defender there. You're not getting a wing back. You're not getting a modern fullback. You're getting a defender. And for teams like West Ham and, mid to lower table teams, obviously depending on where West Ham finish, sometimes they're finishing in the top half of the table in Europe, so on and so forth. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka would be an absolutely fantastic signing, and I think 15 million is quite reasonable from Manchester United. I really do. I think 15 million for Wan-Bissaka. For a club like West Ham, you're getting a really, really good defender. No nonsense from him, never any issues, very good pro, puts his head down, works hard, goes home after training, turns up, does the job on a Sunday and goes home. Doesn't do interviews, never any talk about salary, about wages, about off-field issues. You're getting a fucking top-notch defender, in my opinion. A lot of people saying, why are we selling Wan-Bissaka, so on and so forth. The reason why Manchester United are selling Wan-Bissaka, and look, I love Wan-Bissaka, I love these old school defenders, and he's one of a rare breed of defenders left in modern football at the moment. But the reason why we're selling him is because he's got 1 year left on his contract, and if we don't, he will leave on a free next summer, and we need to be smart now, and it's time for Manchester United to stop allowing players to leave on free transfers. And we're not going to offer him a new deal. And to be honest with you, I don't think he would sign a new deal. He doesn't want to be a backup to Diogo Dalot, and that's what he would be. I do think Dalot is the better all-round defender. I think he improved massively on the defensive side of his game this year, and he continues to improve going forward as well, which he was relatively good at in the first place. We're not going to extend Aaron Wan-Bissaka's contract. We're just not. It's an area that Erik ten Hag has been looking to improve since he became manager. So that completely goes against giving Aaron Wan-Bissaka a new contract. And again, I mean the new directors coming in, the Dan Ashworth, Dave Brailsford, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, whoever it may be that's making the decisions, they've obviously decided as well that he's surplus to requirements and it's time to move him on. Let's get some money in and let's reinvest it, So, look, I do think we're going to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka leave as soon as a deal is agreed between United and West Ham. I think they're pretty close on personal terms as well, West Ham and Wan-Bissaka, if they already haven't done so. I think it is very close, so I don't see that as being much of an issue either. This is something that's going to get done, and as soon as it is done, Bosch will be signing this lad. The one thing I would say about Mazraoui, he has got a lot of injuries. He has had a lot of injuries in the past few seasons, so it's concerning. It is concerning. Hold on, I'm just after getting a major breaking pop up on my screen. Let's see what that's in relation to. Samuel Luckhurst, who I don't really have much time for, has come out. Let me put it up on the screen feed. And he said, it's the same thing about Leny Yoro. United are concerned that Leny Yoro has fractured his metatarsal and could be out for up to 2 months. 2 months, it's 2 weeks more than we initially said. So, yeah, as you can see on the screen, 2 months. So, we said 6 weeks. Samuel Luckhurst is saying 2 months. Yeah, it's not good, to be honest. Yeah. Jay's in. He says, we're up in your patch this Monday, Jack, playing practice match Monday evening. Jay, are you playing freebooters by any chance? Are you playing freebooters? Because if you are, I'm the assistant manager. You playing for North End, is it? Let me know. I keep an eye out for your response there. But yeah, we've got a game Monday afternoon against North End. Yeah, so... But anyway, Leny Yoro, up to 8 weeks by the looks of things. Look, we gave the initial report here saying that it was going to be 6 weeks, and now reports coming out in the past few minutes are saying 2 months. It's not a great start. It really isn't a great start because, you know, you'd want the young lad coming in, you'd want him doing well, you'd want him, you know, gaining confidence, playing as much game time as he can under the new manager, learning the ways the manager wants to, wants him to play, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. When is United's next game? It's on in just over 6 hours. Just over 6 hours. We will be live for it as well, guys. So make sure you are tuning in for that as well tonight. Go over to YouTube. Link is on my homepage. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. And you'll get notified as soon as we go live tonight. I do want to finish on a positive note, guys. We do have a here we go in relation to Manchester United making a new signing today. And that is in relation to Chido Obi Martin to Manchester United. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Talented striker, leaves Arsenal, and he's just accepted Man United's proposal. Pathway key for Chido, who's turned down higher bids from Germany to sign for Manchester United. Project convinced 2007 born top talent to accept Manchester United. And it also says that Ruud van Nistelrooy played a key role in signing the kid. He actually picked up, was speaking to him, told him about, his plans, to get into the first team, so on and so forth. Now, the downside to this is that reports today are suggesting that Manchester United have offered him €30,000 a week. Initial reports had suggested that Arsenal offered him 15 grand a week, where it was their policy, Arsenal's policy, that they've never offered over 6 grand a week to a first-time pro, a pro's first contract coming through the academy. And they went from 6 to 15. Now, reports have suggested that United doubled Arsenal's offer, which would put it at 30 grand a week for a 16-year-old. Reports have also suggested that he is obviously he's going into the academy, he's going into the underage teams, but he will not be specifically excluded from first team as well, and that he'll be involved in the first team throughout the season at certain points. Now you're probably talking, maybe Europa League. Would you be talking, first round of the FA Cup? Carabao Cup, maybe, games like that. But look, it's good United are going out and they're making a statement with this signing that it's not just big names we're looking at, and that we're getting, like, going out and maybe giving this guy 30 grand a week. Is probably just going to say to any other young lads, look, Manchester United are doing things. I want to go and play for Manchester United. Look at who they're signing, And there was another report today, which I forgot to bring up, that United have agreed a deal with a Crystal Palace academy player as well, 16 years of age. Can't remember his name, but supposedly an absolutely fantastic player also. And we've agreed a deal for him to come to United as well. So not just signings for the first team, guys. United are future-proofing the club as well by going out and getting these young talents and getting them into the club. We've been doing it, as well. We've been producing fantastic players, for, the bones of 80, 90 years now. And, you going out and signing these academy players is a very important thing to do as well. We done it with Alejandro Garnacho at 16 or 17. We got him from Atletico Madrid. So, you know, it is a smart way to move. It really, really is. Right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. Anybody watching on YouTube, if you are getting up for the game tonight, hit the notification bell on the channel. We will be live from 2:30 tonight or tomorrow morning, whatever way you want to look at it. Anybody on TikTok, do hit that follow button for me, guys. We're on the road to 50,000 followers on TikTok. And do subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Click on my homepage, hit subscribe. The YouTube button is on my homepage. We're live over there tonight, in the morning, in 6 hours time for Manchester United's game. So make sure you're tuning in for that. Appreciate you watching, guys. Subscribe, hit that like button if you haven't already done so. I'll be back in less than 6 hours. I better go and get some sleep. But until then, have a great day.